Zero. We are live. Hey, man, it's your boy King D. Raj.
Trucker Brown.
Shooter Brown in the building.
And this is I Am About That Life podcast. We have a special guest. It is his birthday. Happy birthday, brother.
He's
Hey,
73
you
years
already know,
old.
He is
man.
73 years old.
Right.
Okay. We have him. He is standing in for Jay right now because Jay is at the crib boo loving. So he getting that, that boo
Sugar
love.
stepping. That's what
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for our man's birthday, we brought him in here. So we're gonna get right into it.
What we're talking
And
about today?
so I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and the subject came to say, do heterosexual men have the same protection as all the other people? You know what I'm saying? Like, because
Define
if you're
protection.
this, we have a group or something to where we can go to fight for the rights for us?
Oh no,
Why is that?
because fuck you. That's why. That's the society's fucking. You're a straight dude, bro. Fuck about.
Mm.
Oh man. Hey, you got to have it right, cuz you can't be coming over here with
Somebody called me, man.
Hey,
So what was you
Listen,
saying, cuz?
somebody called me. But what I'm saying is yeah, no, fuck no. They don't give a fuck about you. You gotta ask Bill Burr. You know what I mean? He breaks it down all the time. You know, he's a great comedian. I listen to Bill Burr because first of all, he's funny as hell. Second of all, he
Yeah,
keep it real and he'll give a fuck what people think.
that's a
You
fact.
know,
fact. That's a fact.
and
Yes.
here's why though. Here's why though. When you're at the top of the food chain, okay. I learned this when I was in the army. That complaints go up. Okay, complaints go
Hmm.
up. Period. And shit rolls downhill. That's just what it is. Complaints go up when you're nobody gives a fuck because you have what they call uh, male privilege, man. Straight male privilege. You are already assumed to be or heterosexual privilege. You're already assumed to be normal. So your
Right.
lifestyle isn't vilified. Your way of doing things isn't looked down upon in any way.
Yeah.
So we don't need to have a parade and then like heterosexual men. Heterosexual men. We don't need no parade and let people know.
I wouldn't go.
I'm just
I mean, even if they did,
No,
I wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't.
you got to look at it like this. You know, it's the same thing as the Black Lives Matter thing. On one hand, all lives do matter,
right.
but the point of saying Black Lives Matter is because it is proven that Black lives are treated like they don't matter. So when you
Right.
come to the gay rights and all that type of shit, there's no laws on the books that say a woman and a man can't get married. But there were laws on the books that said a man and a man can't get married. There was no laws on the books that saying that, you can't be in the military married to a woman. But I don't know if they still are or not. So basically, what would we be protesting for? Would be the biggest question. Like, what are we protesting for? To be able to marry
Hey,
who we
that's
want?
what that's
We
what I'm
can't.
saying. It's like,
But still, I'm just
yeah,
saying
there's
like,
you ain't
but
honestly as far as the grand scheme of things, there's no problems. You know what I'm saying? You don't
but
get looked
sometimes
at
it
like
like,
that.
so where do we go when we do have who do we talk to when we do have problems?
Talk to your mama. Talk to who your support system is.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm
what
saying?
kind of what kind of problems is you talking about that relate
I
to
don't
being
know.
straight?
And shit, I really don't. It was just, it
See,
made sense. If I'm
I
just,
got one.
that's the point. Well,
I got a heterosexual based problem.
what is that?
Child support. Now that's what we need to be going to the
Right there. So again, right there, you know what? I'm glad you said that because think about it. We talked about this the other day about a man dealing with a woman, and then because she don't want him to see the child, she act all crazy and stuff. So
Yeah.
where does that heterosexual man go when he's dealing with that problem? Who does he
Nowhere.
talk to?
Nowhere. A
Why don't we
lawyer.
have a group? Why don't
A
we have a
lawyer.
group where we can? Because think about it. Yet we in society, the heterosexual man is supposed to be tough. He's supposed to not show emotion. He's supposed to just be, "Ugh." But you know, we human, and sometimes we want to
Well,
cry
I don't
too,
think.
man. Sometimes we want to cry,
I don't know.
man.
Your audio dropped. Can you hear me? D Rise, your audio dropped. I can't hear y'all.
You can
And
hear me?
Can y'all hear me? Nod your head if you can
Yeah,
hear me.
you gotta
yeah.
leave and come back.
Okay, well
You
I
gotta leave and
can't
come
hear
back.
you at all.
You
I don't
gotta
know what's
leave
happening.
and come back.
I don't
Uh,
know.
close
Yeah, I
out.
don't. Yeah, I'm not a gang member. I don't speak sign language.
You
You know what
got
I'm
to
saying?
leave and come back.
Close
Okay,
out.
wait. See? No, no. Okay,
Yeah.
phase.
This nigga here.
Hey, bro. Hey, you know what though? You know the funny thing?
Bro, when that happens, you gotta exit out, go back to the text message, and get right back, come back in.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're saying. Leave and come back.
Yeah, that's with the
Oh,
CL.
oh, y'all need a sign, nigga. That say that.
But you know, hey, bro, I don't feel bad because I was
All right,
listening
so you
to,
back? We back?
yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. I didn't
Okay,
even leave.
so I don't feel
I
bad
guess this.
because I was listening to another podcast of a very successful and wealthy person, and that because they had to do stuff like this, it was trash. And normally their podcast is good, so I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about what's
Nah,
going
I
on.
don't
So
worry about that shit because people understand the
Yeah.
technical differences. They trying to get to the conversation anyway. That's why once a
right,
person I praise is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan don't add no extra shit to his podcast, but it's about the convo.
right,
I
right,
see it like this,
right.
man. Okay. Well, I don't think that we have a. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there
But
are
see
no
again, real
real
quick, my bad.
issues.
I hate to cut you off, but see how I was just emotional about 2 seconds ago, and nobody came to my rescue.
Because
No
we don't
one
give a
cared.
shit. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't give a
Exactly.
fuck.
So
Nobody
again,
cares. You know what I mean?
where
Like
do
you're a
I go,
dude,
bro?
huh?
Where do I go?
Look, man, you
Who do I
take that
talk
shit
to?
and you ball it up, right? You ball it up, all right? And you
Okay,
put that shit in a jar deep down
okay,
inside your soul. And then you
okay.
go to the bathroom, okay? And you look in the mirror and you say, fuck you. Fuck your hopes. Fuck your dreams. Nobody cares about you. Get this motherfucking money no matter what. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Or
sir. Yes, sir. I don't. I
whatever.
hold
You
out any
see what I'm saying?
disrespect for a moment.
Like Chris Rock said it the best. He was like, you know, he said that same thing, but he was like, "Dig, let's go out here and make this bitch happy." Like that's I mean, nobody cares, bro. You make the most money. You respected the most in the fucking community. Your views are not taboo as far as your sexuality. No religion says what you're doing is wrong. I mean, you have no reason to be mad. You got
Right.
problems?
Right.
Well, fuck your problems. You're a dude, bro. You're winning already.
Or,
Okay.
or if you don't take that draconian thought of it, technically you could do what most CEOs that run the world and have everything do. They get a shrink. See now
Mm.
this teaches back into the jigabuonics of niggerdom. Now listen to what I'm
Damn.
Right.
saying. The jigabuonics of niggerdom, we don't fuck with shrinks. But
Right.
everybody got a therapist. You see it in the movies. What my therapist says. We don't have
Right.
that because we believe we don't need to go talk to nobody. If you really need help, go to a therapist, like most sane people do, or people who want to go get a mental tune-up. Go to a therapist and get your shit together. That's it. But you don't need no fucking. I'm not going to no group and crying in a circle, bro. I'm not doing
I'm
that.
not about to hold a
Fact.
sign and walk
Yeah. Me
down the
neither.
street like fuck all that, dog. Even I'm not gonna lie, even if I was part of these groups, I am part of one of those groups. I'm a black man. I'm a black straight man. Okay, let's clear that the fuck up. But fucking I'm a black straight man, okay? And black straight men are not treated like white straight men here. But I'm not marching for shit. I'm gonna fucking get rich and I'm gonna buy a fuck ton of guns. That's how I do shit. Because
Mm.
I'm not about to go and beg nobody to respect me. You see what I'm saying? Either you do or you fucking don't. Because what happens is when you force people to respect you, what they'll do is they'll act like they respect you on the surface, but then do
Right.
backhanded backwater bullshit to keep your motherfucking ass down anyway. So let me drop some jewels on you right quick, right? With this whole apologetically white movement that's going on, where white people are fucking, saying things like, "Oh well, I apologize for this, that." No, I don't want nobody to be ridiculed about shit they say. You know why? Because I need to know who people are.
Who you are. Right.
Once
Yes.
you start
Yes.
once you start saying, okay, I'm not gonna say this, I'm not gonna say that. That don't mean you still don't feel that way. That don't mean that your
Mm.
actions won't. Just like I feel like
Finding
freedom
getting
of speech
jobs,
is
working,
absolute.
real estate,
You know
Right.
what I mean?
higher
Why is it
Yeah.
that
purchase.
people are losing property behind words that they say? Peep game. Just like that whole thing back a couple years ago with the guy who had the Clippers. What's his name?
Hmm.
The old white dude.
Donald Sterling.
Okay.
Donald
Yeah,
Sterling.
Sterling. Everybody was like, he should lose this team. I was like, no, he shouldn't.
Right.
Because honestly,
That's what he felt.
if you run back through the shit that I say, and you're telling me what I should not have my car, I should not have my business or whatever. Now people have the right to not patronize my business.
Back.
But at the same time, though, you cannot, in good conscience, I cannot agree with the fact that this man should lose his property because that's a slippery slope. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That means that your freedom is not free. You know,
Yeah.
your freedom of speech is not free. Like you can't say what you want under threat of losing property. Like this is this man's business, regardless. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not even a fan of
Right.
basketball, period. But the thing about it is like he has the right to fucking say what he wants. Now, people also have the right to patronize or not patronize his business, but to put it into legal statute that you can take this man's property based on some shit a motherfucker recorded him saying in his house. Come on now, have you heard some of the fucked up shit I said about motherfuckers in my goddamn house? Look, we're not gonna get on Shooter Brown and his motherfucking opinions. You see what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
But let's just say I wouldn't own a damn thing. Because
That's
sometimes I'm
Mm.
pissed off. Sometimes I need to vent, and I'm at fucking home. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm at home. I say all kinds of fucked up shit. You know? Who doesn't? Let's keep it real with
Right.
ourselves here. You see what I'm saying? And everybody's so fucking offended about what people say, but at the end of the day, they do the same shit. You do the
Right.
same shit.
Right.
You
yeah.
know?
I'm with it. I
So
definitely
Do the
agree with
same
that. Cause
shit.
everybody has a problem with somebody at the end of the day. And my thing is, if you have time to be mad at everything, you ain't on the grind doing what you're supposed to be doing anyway.
yeah.
This
Because
motherfucker that already made it. He already a billionaire.
my biggest thing with the protesting, um, a person will say, "Well, you weren't at a protest. I got a job. I'm
Right.
not protest busting windows, setting shit on fire. Because after when this protest is over in 2 3 days, motherfucker, you still gotta live. You still gotta be out here. And you think these charges you acquire during a protest is not gonna affect your higher ability and able to take care of yourself? You're fucking crazy.
Right.
The shit's out of hand, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. If you feel the need to go down there and pick it, now you got to understand. First of all, this whole COVID thing that gave people time. They got time today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got time today. So they out there because first of all, you got the perfect storm of bullshit. You got a bunch of people who are either
Broke.
unemployed or
Right.
furloughed and broke. Okay,
Right.
the civilized man. I say this all the time on my videos. The civilized man can only be civilized if his basic needs are met. I don't give a fuck who you are. Okay, you can be all kinds of a good person until your kids are hungry. You all
Right.
kinds of a good person until you about to be outside because you done lost your job or your source of income because you cannot because they done had this virus and now you're not working, and then this eviction tsunami that's coming down the fucking street. You see what I'm saying? That's about to have everybody outside. You haven't seen a riot. Okay? Let's be clear. Okay? You have not seen a riot. This is a this what we have going on right now with people burning down stores and crimes of opportunity where people are getting shoes and Jordans and iPhones that ain't gonna work even though they stole them. Like all this shit, it means nothing. It's a drop in the bucket compared to a country who has lost 30 to 40% of the GDP. Okay, once you understand
That's what
how the order,
GDP.
the GDP is the gross domestic product. That's how money is moving around the country, how money is being produced, goods and services, things like that. Okay, all this has come to a screeching, grinding, heavy train halt. And now you got millions upon millions of people who are facing eviction. They're facing hunger. They're facing lack of medical lack of the incentive for medical care by the government. All kinds of things are going on right now. And then on top of that, it's an election year where you're fucked either way.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying?
mm.
Trust me, you have not seen a riot till you have millions of New Yorkers out on the streets, not because they rioting, but because they have nowhere to be because they're in the city of locked doors now. You have no access because you've been evicted. And then on top of that, you don't even have a car to sleep in because this is New York and nobody needs one anyway. So now
Right.
you're just outside with your babies. You have not seen the level of barbarism that is likely to take place once people's needs are not being met on a scale this large. You know. So
That's, I mean,
I
I agree with that. I think what most people need to do is, understanding on diversity, like this right here. This is another business venture. This podcast is
Right.
another business venture. It'll be another check. My YouTube is a check. My driving a truck is a check. My photography, hopefully one day, will be a check. You got to be able to do more than one thing, and you also can't sweat the bullshit. I'm not about to
Yeah.
run out here and take off work every time someone gets killed because it happens every week. I wouldn't be able to maintain my lifestyle and take care of my child, if I worried about men's rights and women's. Man, listen, bro. At the end of the fucking day, you have to do what you have to do. Life ain't never been easy. I hate when people think, oh, well, back in the day, life was easier. No, the fuck it wasn't.
no the fuck it wasn't.
It
It's
was
so
not.
easy nowadays to
And the
make money.
information wasn't there. Yeah, the
Yeah.
information
Th-
is here.
You
Information, but
know,
again, I don't want to hear nobody tell me I can't make money. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie. There's
it's
so many
too
things you
easy
can do.
nowadays. It's too it's but see the problem is not the problem is that now you got a bunch of people who need to become entrepreneurs but are used to being spoon fed. They're
Yeah,
Mm.
not used to
they
taking
they don't
any
want to put the
risks.
work in, and they don't want
They
to
don't
put the
want to
work
put the
in.
work in. They're lazy. This is America. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hit the jig. You feel me? Like, that's what it is. Think about this. These
right.
people are literal sheep. Okay, they have been herded through this life. They call it the rat race. There are analogies for this that has been happening. You see what I'm saying? Think about all the skills that have been lost due to the spoon-fed butchery of skill sets.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You don't know how to fucking grow. I'm not saying you personally, but I'm just saying like the average person, you don't know how to fucking grow food. You
Or
don't know
hunt.
how
Right.
to or hunt or do husbandry of animals. You see what I'm saying? You don't know how to break down a deer. I'm not talking about the rural folks that are gonna comment and be like, well, I know. Yeah, you might know. I'm talking
Right.
about the masses
The
though.
masses. Right.
You see what I'm saying? We've been spoon fed. We've been saying the only reason we can even survive in cities is because of the fact that we've been spoon fed food. We're truckers. We know because we are doing the spoon feeding. Literally, we
Right.
are the spoon. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So at the end of the day, it's like how can you expect a people whose livelihood and home economic skills have been greatly diminished, okay, and then the thought of owning businesses have been pushed to the back burner because what do they tell you? Oh, you go to school, you go to college and you graduate, you'll get a good job.
Oh,
Think about
yeah.
what they're
Hmm.
saying. Words mean things. We are all business owners on here right now, but the
Right.
average American, they're not.
Yeah.
They've been brainwashed by their parents who have been brainwashed to believe that the baby boomer era is still in existence. And it's not though. This is a different beast you're dealing with. And the horse saddle don't fit the bull.
Yeah. If you ain't
Right.
fucking with the internet, you gonna starve because that's where the
You
shit.
gonna yeah.
This
Yeah.
right. This what we're doing right
E-commerce
here.
is the future,
This is
you know.
media. You're able to go on here, do what you do, and make some money. You're able to start a business and put it online. There's no brick and mortar bullshit. Ain't nobody doing that shit. It's just whack. You need to be able to do more. But the biggest way to be able to do more is you got to get your head out of the fucking box, which is what most people having a problem with. The people who are pissed off that shit are changing are the ones that don't want to learn no more. They got to a certain place and thought, I'm middle class, I'm good. And then when someone's
Yep.
when the world is like, oh, everything's changing, you're not about to be middle class no more. They want to get up and be pissed off about it. But no, I always tell them this: no one was mad when the vending machine came out. Why would they be mad, Trucker Brown? Because there was a candy man before a vending machine.
Hmm.
Yep.
Right.
There
Yep.
was
Yeah.
a soda man before the vending machine. There were big laundry houses. Ray Charles' mom ran a laundry house before there were washing machines. There was a person in the neighborhood that washed all the linens and shit. So
Right.
we've taken when automation works for us, we don't trip. Siri took out of personal assistance. That's what
Yeah.
Siri.
Google killed Jesus. Nobody pray about it anymore. They just
Yeah.
Google it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it. Listen, let's keep it all the way 100. And the thing about it is that our in our community though, as far as black people go, we make up. We first of all understand that we run the economics of this nation. Okay, what do you mean, Shooter Brown? I'm gonna tell you what I mean. What I mean is that the black dollar is so entrenched into retail that without us, the system will crumble. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But the problem is that the black dollar is entrenched in retail.
Yeah.
That's bad for the community itself because instead of us wearing clothes and buying products made for and made by us, we send our money off to Italy for Louis Vuitton or Gucci. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got to understand that at the end of the day, we have single-handedly created this storefront patronizing of businesses that is the American economy nowadays through excessive spending, outrageous musical contributions to the culture. We have created rock and roll. We have created the blues. We are the heartbeat, literally, of the culture of America because without us, think about this. If we were never as instrumental as we were into the creative side of things here, what would the music landscape look like? What would the struggle per se look like here? You see, I'm getting at it is us. We have been doing this, and I'm not one of those grandiose black people or everything type of people, but these are the facts. Whole
Right.
industries have been created around our way of doing things. You see what I'm saying? Or our struggles being told through artistic expression. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So these things are not being taken seriously by us, though.
Yeah.
You see
Mm.
what
But
I'm saying?
then at
Because
the same
if it
time, at the same
was
time, we don't
exactly
own.
because
We don't own.
you don't see a black head
We
of an
don't own
industry
it.
where it's mostly Jewish people.
No, you don't own it. We're
No.
the consumers. How are we the people who invented rap and rock and roll? But it's a whole bunch of old Jewish people that got rich off of it. And then when you look at all of the artists, they're all dying broke. It's like that's because we don't even own we don't own our own culture. The main thing that needs to be done, number one, is stop signing. Stop signing over your artistic expression. Stop signing over
Right.
your idea. You're
Right.
gonna be
Yeah.
well. If I do this, I'll get bigger, but you won't own it no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't own it, then you have nothing.
Then you are the
You
blue
have
collar.
literally nothing.
I tell people all the time in Hollywood, the actor is the janitor of Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the blue collar person of Hollywood. The
Yeah.
actor.
And is sooner or
Yeah.
later the
And then
actor
think
not even
about
gonna have to be there.
yeah,
They're gonna digitize
think
the actor.
about the detriment of the lifestyle of the actor. Everybody glorifies these people, but really that life sucks. You
Yeah.
can't go
Yeah.
nowhere, right? Like, okay, you got money, but you done acted your way and musically entertained your way or whatever industry of entertainment you're in. You've done all this to become recognizable, and now you have built yourself a luxurious private life. prison.
Yeah, and that's what Will Smith was talking about.
You know,
He was in prison of being Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah,
So being Will Smith, and he had to get out of that. That's why what he's doing now. So, but yeah, they
but
don't
see,
understand that.
yeah. You know, and I don't want to be famous. Fame, ugh, God, that's like the
Yeah,
worst. I'm
yeah,
sorry. That is the now, and
because you're
people
held to a standard.
recognize me where I go. I was at a truck stop earlier, and my man was hollering at me. He's like, "Oh, I like your videos." Da 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 da. I appreciate it, but at the same time, though, it gives me a little taste of how. What if I was being like a complete
Excuse me,
dick
Mr.
that
Celebrity.
day? You see, you see what I'm saying? But I mean, think about that though. And I
Right.
only got what 4 or 5 thousand subs. Like I don't even be consistent enough to even. But I guess I make an impact on certain people based on things that I say. But at the same time though, it's like when you think about the what is happening, you know what I mean? Instead of just focusing on making it happen, you realize that hold on, you got to be careful what you wish for because shit, you can't go nowhere. Imagine how lonesome Michael Jackson's life was.
Yeah. They
Oh,
said he rented out like a supermarket or something and paid people to walk in the market so it could seem like he's walking in shopping and shit like that. That's
and being
crazy.
normal, being
Yeah,
oh.
that's
normal.
crazy. But that's not life. That's not life. I don't want it.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
definitely
You
don't
don't
want
put yourself into this bubble. And it's like
it. Yeah.
everybody's shooting for I don't want to be famous. I want to be like that rich Jewish guy who owns Miramax, okay? And he can go into Walmart and get a bucket
And
soda
nobody
and
know.
nobody knows who the
Right.
fuck he is, but he's
Oh,
sitting on.
hold on. The rich Jewish guy over Miramax was Weinstein. He was raping all them bitches.
Oh, whoa, yeah, whoa, 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 whoa.
So I don't give a fuck. He could. That's not the point. The point is that he could go somewhere and most people didn't even know who he was.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you
And
see what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
I didn't agree with his pastime, but at the same time though, you know what I
Vlad,
mean? Like
Vlad TV,
still,
Vlad TV talks about it, and he says that's why his videos are pointing at the unsub and not him, because he still wants to be able to move around. He has 10,000 videos, and he's probably in 100 of them that you can see his face. Most of it is the person he's interviewing because he still wants to be able to go to Target.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know,
right.
You want to be able to live. What's the point of having all this money that you done made and you can't go nowhere and spend it as like a regular person?
Right.
Like I just want my
and with,
card to go through forever.
and with YouTube and Instagram, the biggest threat is the fact that you'll get famous without the money. So now,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
you're like me, 80,396
Now you're just being bothered
people.
for free.
80,396 people know who I am, but I don't have security.
Right.
It's
Right.
like
Right.
you're famous
That is
without the
tactically
security.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
that's a bad deal. So
Yeah.
another subject that I wanted to touch on was that the shooter in Kennesaw. Y'all know about the Kennesaw shooting.
Yeah.
No.
It was Blake was shot in Kennesaw 7 times in the back with no gun. Then there was a riot.
Oh, I think that's the dude that was trying to get in his car, right?
Exactly. Then
Yeah.
there was a riot, and then these uh, protest anti-protest people went out there with AR-15s. They were supposed to be protecting the buildings or whatever. Well, one of them went out there with an AR-15, but he was 17 years old. And I guess loose with the trigger, he shoots one person in the head. Then he runs off and shoots another person in the stomach. And someone tries to stop him. He shoots him in the arm. Now, I'm confused that is I didn't know you could buy a long gun at 17.
Might have been his. Was it
Well,
his or was his parents?
They haven't got to that yet.
Mm.
well, it depends
But I
on.
do know. I
I
do
don't.
know. Uh, you can only buy a handgun in the state that you live in, but you can buy a shotgun or a rifle or whatever out in any state. You don't have to live in that
Well,
state.
what state did this happen in?
This happened in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Let's find out
Yeah, because
because I want to know.
my understanding, you can buy a long, but you got to be 18 years old to buy it.
Right.
I think you got to be 18.
Yeah, you gotta
But
be
see,
18.
but again, him being white, who's selling the guns? Probably someone white.
Well,
And
I
hey,
don't think well, owning a gun and being in
that's what I'm saying. It
possession
might have
of
been his
one,
parents.
like you really
Right.
got to be careful what you got. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you got to be careful. You got to find out based on the law of the state that he was in, and then you got to also, I mean, you got to know. But here's the thing. Here. Let me say this though, because I got a beef with some of these Second Amendment people, and I'm a huge Second Amendment advocate. But I was under the belief that the Second Amendment was to protect the people. So why is it that there are people who claim to be 2A advocates who, when someone of the government kills one of the people, they protect the government? I don't understand that.
Yeah, but see,
That seems a bit
no,
backwards to
but
me.
they touched on that. They were saying that we're not here for the government. We're here to stop the businesses, to protect our
I'm
businesses.
getting
Because
messed up.
when the mob comes through and tears down the businesses, it takes a long time for the city to recuperate. So they were protecting the private businesses, like the washing machine place or the dealerships or whatever, because they were burning them down. I get that, but the problem that
Mm.
they have to understand is you don't have the protection of like a police officer has. If you fuck around and someone gets killed, you're not gonna have that protection.
You don't have that
Right.
immunity.
Yeah, and you kill
Right.
somebody, run off, kill another person, dude. They're gun, and you're 17, bro. Like you. I don't even think this is a state thing. You cannot buy a full fledged AR-15 at 17
Okay,
years
here we
old.
go. Open carry for Wisconsin. It says open carry is legal anywhere. Concealed carry is legal. It is legal for all adults who are 18 years of age or older unless they are prohibited from possession of firearms. A license is not required unless in a taxpayer-owned building or within 1,000 feet of school property and not on private property. You see what I'm saying? So he broke the law according to, now this is, you gotta understand, like, this is Wikipedia, so that's open to interpretation and edit.
Right.
But for the most part, it's saying that you got to be 18 uh, to open carry. Okay, so therefore he had already broke the law
Already broke the law.
by, according to them.
Out past curfew.
You see what I'm saying?
Out past
Yeah, it
curfew.
was a curfew because it was a riot.
Yeah.
So he done broke two laws.
Okay,
Right.
and he's a minor, so he
And
should have
and
been. He
and
should have.
three,
Yeah, he should
three,
have been
because he
home
didn't shot
anyway. So
somebody.
what's happening to this kid?
He's arrested. I mean,
Yeah, they arrested, but he was
arrested.
able to. What happened
Oh,
was
then there you go.
they said after he shot them people, he walked right past officers. They gave him some water and said he's handling issues or something, or solving problems or something like that, and let him go about his way. After shooting 3 or 4 people, he went home that night and went to bed.
Did the officers witness him shooting him?
I don't
No,
know that part.
but I mean, there
Did
were
you?
a
You
thousand people out here telling them that he's the one that killed so and so. They were following him, saying he shot. So he's shooting people. That he
Right.
wasn't alone. This
mm,
5,000 people in the street saying he just shot
yeah.
somebody in the head. And
Oh yeah. He's fucked. He's wrong. He's
but
wrong for
but
that. Now
but
I don't know how fucked he is
but
because
the biggest thing
you know.
is he has an AR-15. You don't feel like my life wasn't threatened. But this dude who didn't have a gun had a knife on the floor. Your life was threatened enough to shoot him in the back 7 times.
Right.
I'm confused. This fucker has a AR-15. You don't feel threatened at all. And a dude with a
And give
butter
him
knife
some
on the
water.
floor,
Give him some water. Gave him some water.
a motherfucker with a butter
Yeah.
knife on the floor, you shoot him 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, you got to
where,
understand
bro.
that the perception of us, but see, I was talking to this guy on Facebook earlier, and he was trying to argue me down, saying that nobody should own machine guns. And there's a misconception about what an AR-15 is that's really starting to irritate me. Okay, because I'm an AR-15 owner. I got a couple of them laying around, But my thing is this: I think that you have to understand, like the public has been given this notion that an AR-15 is some kind of machine gun, and it should be banned and da 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 da. But really, in actuality, AR-15 is just a semi-automatic rifle. You see what I'm saying? So now this kid, obviously, he should be charged with murder or
Right.
whatever. You know what I
Two
mean?
count
Or at
at
least
least.
a gun charge for being he because I feel like he should charge with felony murder because felony murder is different. Felony murder is when it's murder because it was committed in the someone died in the act of committing a felony. He was committing a felony by already having a firearm. Um, by my understanding, I could be wrong. The comment section will correct me, but I believe that he was already committing the felony by being in possession, open carrying, underage, in
Yep, Section
according to
one.
the state laws of Wisconsin.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then therefore ended up shooting someone. So therefore the person wouldn't have been killed had he not broken the law in the first place by having it on
Right.
him
the two people
and
with.
then shooting someone with it.
So
Oh, well,
should
two
he be
people.
tried
See,
as an adult?
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you can be tried as an adult. You try
yes,
us as an adult. Fuck yes, try them as an
yeah,
adult.
they try our kids as
Right.
adults. You know what I mean? But you know,
Right.
they're gonna play he's a minor and blah, blah, blah. They're gonna try it, but I don't think it'll hold up.
Right.
The political landscape
They
right
can't.
now is that you can't let
Yeah,
these
it
people
can't.
walk no more
No.
because
No.
the
Oh
city
no.
will burn.
No. Yeah.
You know, you
So
can't.
that then,
You
if that's the
sorry, it
case, then
has
the
something
riots
got to
are
be
doing what
done.
they're supposed to do. The riots doing what they're supposed to do
Well,
then, right? Putting the pressure on them.
I don't necessarily, you know, condone rioting, but I also understand why it happens.
Yeah, because
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not.
we've been peacefully
What are
marching,
you gonna do? How
and it's
many
still happening.
times?
That's major.
Yeah, like yeah.
Right.
So until you are de-incentivized by having your economy affected, by having your elections affected, by having everything affected, then you're not gonna give a shit.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck about your black ass. You see what I'm saying? Nobody cares. They care about the money. You hit them in their
Right.
pockets. I'm listening. This is not my personal, I would do this thing, but I can understand the logic behind it because they're saying by rioting and burning things that if you don't treat us right, your shit will burn.
Yeah,
And if you don't want your shit to burn, then you will start to act like you got some motherfucking sense out here and see blatant bullshit and call it. You know,
yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying that we need more gun control. I'm not saying we need gun control at all, actually.
Right.
I think that gun control didn't make a difference because this person broke the law anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Gun
You see
control
I'm
will make
getting
it
at?
worse.
This is why I try
Yeah.
this is what I try to explain to people is that when you look at what's happening and then they preach for gun control, the instances where these atrocities happen are outside the scope of the law anyway. So therefore, it would
Facts.
stand to reason that your gun control doesn't mean shit to people who do not care about the law. The only person you'll
Facts.
stop from getting these weapons are law-abiding citizens because you
That's
can
trying to
say
protect
that
themselves.
AR-15s are illegal, but I can guarantee you that I can find one anyway.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, look at Chicago. Ain't no one allowed to have a gun in Chicago, and they dying from gun violence.
And meanwhile, more people get shot. Chicago, New
Right.
York, LA, and you got to understand that if you put a overlay of the places that have the strictest gun laws and the places where black people live in the dense population, these are the same places. Gun control
Mhm.
is a byproduct of racism. Okay, what do you mean, Shooter Brown? I'm gonna tell you what I mean, because before the Mulford Act back in the 60s, you were able to open carry in California. You see what I'm saying? But when the Black Panthers stood out there exercising their Second Amendment rights, nobody got shot. They didn't even brandish their firearms to shoot anyone. They went out there and held their weapons and said words. And the white people there in power were so afraid of Negroes with guns that they told them that, you know what, we're going to make it so they can't do this again. But what happened was, what's going to happen to the rest of the country if we're not careful, is that they're going to scare white people into thinking that you should put these laws on the books because black people are bad and they shouldn't have guns. And what's going to happen is these laws are going to apply to everyone, just like it does in California,
Right.
New York, Illinois. You see what I'm getting at? Now, Now, why is it that the places with the most lax gun laws ever, like Wyoming, Nevada, Montana, Texas,
Montana.
they don't have a problem with shooting deaths of that
Right.
magnitude? You know why? Because of armed society is a polite society. If you are likely to run into someone with a gun, you are less likely to try to commit a crime against that person, rob that person, or blatantly disrespect that person. Really, you see what I'm saying? Because the
Right.
likelihood of someone in that state being armed is very high. You see what I'm saying? And nobody wants a hard target. These people go after people with that are soft targets. Why
School,
do you think that the
churches.
schools shootings and the hospital shootings, the churches, the nobody ever went into a police station and started busting?
Oh no.
You know why?
Nah, they gonna do
Because
that.
everybody in that bitch got a gun too.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
You see what I'm getting at?
to a Texas church and tried to shoot it up, and they killed the people. They shot them. It was like you can't do that
Yeah.
because motherfuckers are strapped in there. You can't
This is
Yeah.
Texas.
you can't do that.
This
Right.
Texas, bitch. What the fuck was you thinking?
Even in
You know?
Nevada,
That's why these
if you look
things.
at the Las Vegas
Yeah.
shooter, he went perched up on another floor and barricaded. He didn't just walk out there and start shooting people. He did it from a
He knew
distance.
better. It was a tactical. He was in a. He shot out the window of a hotel room and started sniping people. That's different. That's different. He didn't walk down. He didn't walk into a place and decide, oh, I'm gonna pull out my gun. Because I live in Vegas. You see what I'm saying? And I'm strapped like car seats. You already know what it is over here. You see what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is that there it's very likely that you'll pull up next to someone and there's an AR-15 sitting on the back seat. There's an
Right.
AR-15 sitting in my passenger seat. There's a pistol somewhere around. I mean, we want to protect ourselves and our family and our property, so we do what we got to do. But we don't have those kind of problems because our laws permit us to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Right.
know,
Now these
I know,
places where you can't,
I know that,
people are getting shot left and right.
I know that if you know, I know what I'm thinking of where I'm going to move to permanently, and one of the things that comes into my mind is like you never know where shit's gonna pop off at. But like he
Hmm.
said, the areas where the gun control is loose, when I go to these places and look at their crime rates, it's not a little bit less, it's like drastically. Like Idaho, the crime is like damn near non existent.
Right.
But their gun laws
Yeah.
are like damn near non existent. Like you just didn't even go on. But then if I was to take
Yeah.
that same path 30 miles less to a Washington city, the gun laws are way more, and they're having a fuckload of issues. So, what
They're
what
having a
what
lot of
what,
issues.
what stance are you? What stance are you supposed to take as far as the protest thing going on? When I see a riot, that's not a protest. So we stop
Hmm.
calling that a protest. You can call that what it
Right.
is. It's a riot because
Right.
this shit is
It's a
happening.
riot.
It's happening 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody protesting 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like
Right.
this is a riot, bro. This is what this is. All the protesters have left.
Right.
This
Yeah, they
this
went
is
home.
nothing other people who are
Yeah.
about to do a lot of
Yeah.
wild shit. So
They following
my
directions.
Yeah.
thing,
Because the protests are organized. People
yeah,
have
they
to get
organize.
permits
They're
for
not
all
even
that.
they're
Like
not even saying anything.
people
They're
are
not
signed
protesting
up.
nothing.
Right.
It's just
They go down to the city hall to get all that stuff. They organize that.
Yeah. There's paperwork involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, granted, and you got the freedom of speech to talk your shit, but nobody's
So
down
how
there as far as a protester is to. I mean, first of all, if I was a protester, I'd want to go to the store and buy a drink. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to burn down the stove. Damn, like, sell me a pizza. Like
right.
that's I mean, that's the natural, logical way of looking at things. So it's like these people who come out though from other places, okay, and they tear shit down, they burn shit up, then they mix it in like, oh, this is these protesters. They're not protesters. These are rioters. But they have their reasons. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Because
It's
if
not
they
saying
didn't
that
need
you
the
don't want
shit
it.
or they didn't want the shit,
Yeah, it's not. I'm not
So
saying
you're dealing with a desperate society.
it's not saying that there's not
I don't
want,
agree, but
but
I understand.
all of it could have been stopped simply is if you convict the fuckers shooting unarmed people. Don't you
right,
just convict them. You can't. You no longer can
Right,
this happen and then not convict the motherfucker who did it. He has to go to prison. If we're truckers, if we fuck up on a decision, we go to jail.
yeah,
But
yep,
this
yeah,
motherfucker is at his
real
job
quick.
and fucks up on a situation and someone dies and he does it. The fuck?
he's on
And
administrative
then
leave.
not only does he not go to jail, he becomes rich behind it. They'll start a GoFundMe, and everybody who believes in that ideology of kill Negroes, well, they pay him. Fucking
Right,
what's his name who killed that boy Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
He ended up with
yeah,
like 2 or 3 million bucks.
Yeah,
yeah,
George
You see
Zimmerman.
what I'm saying? It's open season.
and
So
joking
and
about
then
it,
the crazy
and
part
joking
about it
about
is that yeah, they'll scare you into saying, "Oh, it's about gun control." Listen, blaming guns for people getting murdered is like blaming spoons for people getting fat. Okay, like it's not the tool, it's the person.
Yeah,
Okay,
them pays
like
money
straight
to
up, it doesn't make any
they don't
sense.
know how to
It
use
doesn't. I put a post on Facebook, and it was like my post on Facebook said, obesity is killing millions of Americans or something like that. I said, and I said these forks and spoons should be banned. Hashtag gun control logic, because it doesn't make any sense. And then they're talking about we should be able. Now they're saying that you should be able to sue the gun manufacturer for their product being used in a crime. Well, then you might as well sue everybody who fucking made everything the dude was wearing. You should sue Hanes
right,
for his socks. You know what I mean? You should
Ford for his
sue
car.
Gildan for his T-shirts. You should sue Ford for the cars. You know what I mean? Like, think where this is a slippery slope. It's nonsensical. This shit doesn't even make nonsense.
right.
How's my audio?
Uh-oh.
Am I
It's
good?
good. Can you hear me? I think he coming back.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good.
So
Shot.
but
Oh yeah.
yeah, he left out. He coming back.
That's why I don't like. I
But
don't.
yeah,
I
that
don't like. I don't like how that ends up being a thing where they start to. I'm sorry, I'm a huge gun advocate because the police. I have a strong belief that the police are not there to save your fucking life. I'm sorry. They
right,
are there to record and investigate what already happened to you, but they're not
right,
there to save your fucking life. The time it takes
no,
to kill a person is not long enough for the police to show up and stop it from happening. You see what I'm saying?
right,
So it would behoove you and anybody who's watching this to be an advocate for your rights, for your to own firearms, no matter where you are. Stop voting in these politicians who are hypocrites. These people will tell you to your face that we need more gun control and people should not be able to own this gun and that gun and all these things. Meanwhile, they'll walk around with a whole crew of heavily armed mercenaries that are tasked with protecting them. I tell you what,
mm-hmm,
you think that guns are unnecessary? Then walk around without your armed security. Then I'll give up my
right,
guns. Until then, shut the
right,
whole fuck up and stop selling me bullshit. You know? I'm sorry, I
right,
am a realist. You
right,
have to be serious about this because these politicians like fucking Joe Biden bitch ass and these motherfuckers who will tell you, "Oh, the second amendment is for hunting." And no it's not. No it's not.
right,
No it's not.
right,
The Second Amendment is there to protect me from being dead. That's what it's there for, okay?
right,
Whether it's from some asshole with a gun or some government with an agenda, regardless of what you think it's for, it's not that. And don't be these people who vote away your rights, okay? Because
yeah.
they will
But that's what they're
scare
doing.
you into they'll scare you into voting away your own rights. Look at
Yeah,
California. Look how hard. And then when things like the coronavirus happens and the civil unrest happens and all these things happen, and then people are realizing like, oh shit, the police ain't gonna do nothing. Maybe I should get a firearm. But meanwhile, you've been living in a place where you're in this fucking bubble of fantasy where you think that you don't need to be protected by yourself. Now you
right,
realize, oh shit, the reality check club that hit you upside the head, and you realize shit's burning, okay, and things are on fire,
right,
and there are people walking down the street like the fucking purge, and you're sitting there like, sitting there with a bat.
Right.
Why? Because you voted to have your rights taken away because of fear. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that is outrageous. It is disingenuous for these politicians to promote it. And it's also horrible for people to be so fearful that they say that you should. I mean, what kind of shit is that's the only industry where they tell you that the direct reason why you need it is the direct reason why you shouldn't have it. That's just like saying to somebody
Mm.
who's walking, you should vote away your right to have a driver's license.
Right.
It don't make no sense, you know. And then, but what do we do as black people? We'll sit there and we'll fucking listen to this motherfucker Joe Biden, who'll sit here and do racist, blatantly racist comments, has a blatantly racist history, and a blatantly fucking agenda to disarm you. And you're gonna vote
Yeah.
for it like a fucking moron. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Think of
Because he has a
words
black woman as
mean
his running
things.
mate.
That bitch
Right.
been
Exactly.
classic.
Meanwhile, that bitch has motherfucking locked up more Negroes, okay, than prom night pussy. Straight up. Okay? Fuck it. I said it.
Whew.
Okay? I'm gonna
Good
tell you
thing we
something.
not
If you know Shooter
monetized yet.
Brown, you already know. You already know what it is over here. All right. I'm sorry. Let's get that out the way. Okay.
Right.
They have been on a career long agenda to take away the black man from the black family, and it has been working
Facts.
superbly. And guess what? They're gonna vote for it again because they're fucking stupid and they don't read, okay? And they don't understand the history of this person. Just because these people draped across the kente cloth, that is not your fucking friend. I'm sorry, this is not your fucking friend. Don't take a knee, bitch. I don't give a fuck about that. What are you putting on the books? I'm gonna tell you what he put on the books. Okay, he put on the books the crime bill back in '93 and '94 with Bill Clinton and fucked over millions of Negroes. That's what happened. Okay, the mass incarceration that he funded through his crime bill and his $12 billion budget to build more prisons, to take education out of prisons. Okay, that he built to put us in. Okay, so not only do you got to sit there, you can't even get a degree while you're in there, even though the people who get degrees are the people who sit down and study. Who's going to study the most? Someone who can't go nowhere. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So they're gonna take education out. Okay, fine, that's gone. And then they're gonna put in place laws that exuberantly diminish your chances of rehabilitation. Okay, and then what did Kamala Harris do based on those same laws? She put in place. She went for uh, the highest sentences. Okay, for what though? There's always an agenda. It's cheap labor. She said it herself that we're not gonna give up these high standards of sentencing because we need the cheap labor. That sounds like a fucking slave owner to me. Okay,
Facts.
that's what it sounds like to me. Okay, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna play that little fucking jazz solo with the goddamn two-step and get the black vote anyway because Negroes don't learn. That's why.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Because
saying? But we are
you got
learning
all the
though.
AKAs that's my sister. We gonna vote for it, but they don't even know her
Yeah,
history.
yeah. She done
Well, we
locked up all
all
your
know
brothers,
all
but
letter
but you gonna
organization
go for her.
motherfuckers. We know all letter organization motherfuckers is jigaboo tunes anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah.
listen.
We said that.
I got to jump on another conference call. I handle this little business shit. But y'all can keep going if you want to. But I got to handle this right here. But
I ain't
this
got
Okay.
is
shit
what
to
I'm
do, nigga. I'm here for it today.
yeah.
Okay.
This is what I tell you. Don't do drugs. Stay celibate.
Yeah,
True.
And if
one
you
out of
ain't,
two ain't bad.
and if you ain't dreaded up, you a jigaboo coon. That's what
Ooh.
gang. Don't do drugs. I'm not a top priority.
All right.
This
So,
nigga
hey,
right
shoot,
here.
let me ask you. Well, you say you're not into the basketball and shit. So,
What's good?
the NBA they boycotted yesterday, Wednesday, right? And everybody was like, okay, good NBA, and now they back to playing games today. What do you think about that?
I think it's fucking stupid to boycott anyway.
Mm,
You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because first of all, I understand that you want to make a stand, right? But do your fucking job,
mm,
okay? And you're not giving a shit about the people who work in these places. You see what I'm saying? These are
mm,
people who got families to feed too. You know,
right.
these people got families. Let's say I was the guy who had a concession stand, or I wanted to or I got a job finally everything's getting back up and running, and I don't want to.
Right.
And my job is to clean. I don't give a fuck if I'm cleaning the toilets. I want to go to work. I
Right.
want to fucking go to work, man.
Mm.
You know, do your job. Say what you got to say. Okay, don't get me wrong. Take your knee or whatever the fuck you want to do. Okay, talk your shit.
Right.
Right? People will listen to you, but don't
Right.
stop the hustle though, because the hustle doesn't stop with you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not a fan of sports anything anyway. I believe it's a complete waste of time, but that's just my personal thing. I like guns and shit. So,
Right.
whatever, right? But it's not my place to say what you can and cannot do. I don't, I ain't shit. Don't listen to me. But I feel like there is an economy around it, and there are lots of people who need to feed their families and their children because of it, with it. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So while you're sitting there, okay, we're gonna boycott the NBA. Meanwhile, most of the people who are the players, most of the people who work there, most of the people who sell the T-shirts, the hats, and all this, these are black people too, though. So fuck
Yeah.
them, right?
Mm.
Fuck
But it
them.
but it was
I'm not
saying they're
saying
trying to.
politics don't belong in sports. I'm saying that you should be able to take your knee, whatever. You know what I mean? Raise your
Right.
fist, talk your shit, but still play the game and keep the money flowing, keep cash flow
Mm.
going. You see what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it personally. Because there's some
Right.
things I'm pissed off about, but I'm not gonna sit here and I'm gonna boycott the trucking industry and why? Why?
Right. Right. Because
You see what
I
I'm
was one of
saying?
those people like, yeah, they shouldn't be playing because this is more important things to worry about. But then, your brother said yesterday, it was like, well, you still driving your truck. You got to go to work just like they got to go to work. And I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. Because I'm thinking they making
Yeah,
millions of dollars, but it's just like, yo, they got to go to work like we got
they're
to go to
making
work. And
millions of
by them going
dollars,
to work,
but everybody only has 100% of their money, right?
right,
So let's say we're making 100,000 and they're making a million. If we spend 50,000 and they spend 500,000, we both in the same boat as far as
right,
percentage is concerned. So
right,
they got bills too. You see what I'm saying? But
right.
I mean, and I'm not sitting here fucking coddling millionaires, right? That's not my
Hmm.
thing. But I
Right,
understand that the people who rely on those few to do their job so they can do their job matters
right.
also. That's all I'm
Mm.
saying. Talk your shit,
Right. And
man.
they
Wear
can
your
get right.
t-shirt,
And they
you
can
know?
get they can get the message out to try to help. Because some
They'll get the
people,
message out more
even
if they kept
myself,
playing, to keep it real.
right? Because at first, I felt like they could get the message out by, just saying, look, we're gonna shut this down, and we got to get this figured out. But at the same time, it's just like, man, either way, things gonna go on. They're gonna go on. So because
Life will
even when
go
they
on in
had,
Jurassic Park.
yeah, they
Life will
had
find
no
a way.
sports, but they still had people betting on game simulations.
Yeah,
So it's gonna
sports
keep
books.
going on
Yeah,
with or with,
it's
yeah.
gonna
So
happen
with or without
regardless.
it. So yeah. So like I said, I
Exactly.
was just like, I'm thinking about the money. Like, man, y'all got money, don't worry about it. But still, it's like they gotta go to work. So I get you on that. But
Or I mean, I feel like yeah, they got money. They can afford to not play a game or two. They can,
right,
but can the
right,
person who sells the tickets in the booth afford it? Can the person who
yeah,
cleans the bathrooms afford it? Can the person who
right,
helps move traffic around and park the cars and do all this other thing? Can the valet afford it? Can the
right,
can the advertisers afford it?
right,
And the companies that advertise those employees, can they afford it? You see what I'm
right.
saying? You end up affecting more people by not doing your job at such a high level of entertainment that is actually more detrimental for you to boycott. If
Mm,
if if most of the people who watch this industry, who are entertained by this industry, who have a culture around this industry look like you, are you helping or not?
right,
This is the question. I
right.
don't have the answer to it, but I would suspect not, you know?
Mm,
I would suspect not because there are lots of people who depend on LeBron to go play or whoever's hot right now. I don't fucking know. You
right,
know what I mean? But and that's what I'm saying. Like there are people who in the industries of support
right.
depend on these things to happen so
Depend
they
on
can
these,
get
yeah,
their $500 that week or they can get their
right,
$200 that day. I mean, these are real people. And once you start saying, okay, boom, now you didn't set off a butterfly effect that affects the advertisers, the TV networks, and all those employees. So you end up affecting millions of black people in a negative way
right,
by maintaining this stance that you're not going to do your job, but you're not looking at the collateral damage because of that. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that if they looked at that, maybe it'll be more of an incentive to just play the fucking game. You
yeah,
know,
and that's what
just
I
play the
wasn't.
fucking
I
game,
wasn't
man.
looking at that. Yeah, I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at, yeah, man, they need to, and it's almost like these people are not our role models. You know what I'm saying? People look at sports players as our role models, and it's just like, nah,
Yeah.
no, just go play your sport, and we'll figure this out. You can help by playing the sport and saying
Well,
your message on TV, but
the reason why black people in general have started to idolize sports figures and can maintain that for a while is because the sports figures and the entertainers are the ones of us who have the pull that are allowed to live.
mm,
Let that marinate. Let that
hmm
marinate for a second. Think about the
right,
ones that we've lost, the Huey P. Newtons, the ones who stood up, who weren't entertainers, the Dr. Kings, the Malcolm X's. They weren't allowed to live.
right,
So it starts to affect how we view these people. You see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, you could watch this guy for years and years and years, you know,
right,
but
right,
because everybody else is getting murdered,
yeah,
period.
yeah,
Just think about that. Every one of us who were not in the entertainment industry who took a stand has died. They're like fucking going up against fucking agents in the Matrix. Everyone who has taken a stand on a large scale and created
hmm
change on a massive, massive wavelength has died.
yeah, right,
The entertainers
right.
are the
I
only
heard it.
ones who are allowed to live because they are the ones who can be somewhat controlled. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not
Yeah,
able to be controlled, like Bill Cosby and da 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 da, da, where they say their piece for real and have pull and want to buy a network that could possibly change how people think on mass
Michael
scale, you
Jackson.
are
Right,
defamed. Michael Jackson,
right,
you are defamed. Your
right.
character is attacked. They might not kill you physically, but they're working on
Cat
it. But
Williams.
at first they're
Right.
gonna, yeah. Think about these
Yeah.
things, okay? Because see, a lot of people are upset about the fruit of the tree, but they're not upset about the root. Okay, the fruit
Mm.
is the byproduct of what is happening, but the root is the perception of us here.
Mm.
I'm like Dan Calloway, man. I'm just here to make you think. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Nah, yeah,
You know?
man. Hey, yeah, it was good to have you here, man. We did what we
Yeah,
did. You came, you saw, you conquered. You got your information, your knowledge out there, man. And that's what this podcast
yeah,
is about, man. We have our trucking channels, but there's only but so much we can do over there. So here we talk about
yeah,
real issues and we speak the truth. We speak our minds and our perception and vision and stuff like that. So on his birthday, he
yeah.
came
And
through,
anything, I
knocked
appreciate
it
it.
down.
Anything that I say, though, I'm like LeVar Burton in Reading Rainbow, man. Don't take my word for it. It's in a book. Go look it up.
Right.
Anything that I say ever in my videos, whether it's talk about the fact that more black people need to buy cryptocurrencies and everything like that, like don't take my word for it. Look into these things, okay? And you'll see that maybe there's a flaw, but I don't see a flaw in my logic, okay? Because I feel like we're on the precipice of the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And the
Yeah.
craziest part about crypto is the fact that the people who would benefit from it the most are paying attention to it,
Mm.
and it's sad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Stop worrying
Right.
about the social shit and watch the fucking money.
Yeah. And that's, hey, bro,
That's it,
that's
man.
all
This
we
is Shooter
doing over
Brown,
here.
man. Catch me on YouTube. If you want a dose of the real, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't do none of that. None of that. I'm just gonna
And
tell
we
you what I
see.
think,
We see.
and that's just what it is. You know,
Right.
that's just
Right.
what it is.
So
But don't
yeah.
be black and vote for Biden because that's fucking stupid, though. That's a
Right.
fact.
Right. That's a fact. So this is I'm About That Life podcast. We definitely took the gloves off. Shooter Brown came through and conquered. And till next time, man, check us out. So we gone.
That's it, man. Stay black till I get back.